Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large exploration rover, where this one is simply called the Scavenger, which is this lovely thing, this glorious large thing, all the way over here. So this is a massive Land Rover that comes with a small little deconstruction ship at the back, so when you drive around on a planet, you find a nearby wreckage, or maybe you find something that's just simply been abandoned, you can deploy the ship, grind it all up, deposit all the resources back in the ship, convert those resources into something else, then maybe just sell it to a nearby trade station and make a bunch of space credits that way. Yes, coming towards the very back here. Here it is, so this is a tiny little grinding ship. I'm not really going to touch on this too much. There we are, our Type 2 grinders at the very front, industrial cockpit, spotlights, atmospheric thrusters, and plenty of cargo space to actually collect everything up. You see there, modular cargo containers on the back of the grinders. Yes, we'll come back to this section a bit later on. Anyway, on the very top here, you see we've got a bunch of guns for a nice bit of defense. We've got two assault cannon turrets, we've got one artillery turret, then we've got two interior turrets towards the very back there for an extra bit of point defense. We've got a way to get all the way up and inside without using our jetpack, and we've got a fairly big interior to wander around in. We'll see that a bit later on. Press the F10 to find the Scavenger in the spawn menu. Finding it's right over here. This thing is not 8,448 large blocks, but does use one hell of a lot of the DLC packs. We see up to here a nice bit of information all about this vehicle, and all the way down here is the specifications where you can see it's only 1,061 large blocks, which is a hell of a lot different compared to what it states down there. Of course, we see everything else inside this vehicle, all the way down the bottom are some notes, then of course the scripts it uses, which is the automatic LCD screen script to tell you what's going on with your inventory, your power, and all of that. We'll see that in the cockpit area a bit later on. Anyway, give this a thumbs up, we run towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, then we'll have a tour of the interior, drive around for a bit, and I believe that'll be that, because I don't think there's any space pirates nearby, or at least haven't spawned nearby. For now, my character can bugger off just a little bit, and here we are for the very front. So what we can see over here, it's not really too much, it's a bunch of grey steel blocks, a bunch of scaffolding blocks, atmospheric thrusters, spotlights, and then our glass to actually drive around from a little bridge at the front. Down here we see our floodlights with a camera right in the very middle. We go on front and back quite low on the vehicle so we get a good view of what's going on with the vehicle when trying to approach something or reverse it up. We're around onto the sides. Here we go, so we come past our glass cockpit, we see our turret on the top, a little logo, we see a bunch of dark grey steel blocks, some hand skin, some corrugated skin, just covering up the tops of these wheels. Over here's a way to get up and inside. But you see there's our ladder, there's our floodlights, comes all the way up onto this catwalk, where we can go further inside or all the way up towards the back where our ship is sitting. Moving further along, there we are, not too much to talk about there, but we can see another atmospheric thruster, we can see some more corrugated steel, some more hazard skin, and towards the very back here, atmospheric thrusters, yellow railings for some decoration, and there's a merge block, there's a connector, help reverse this thing up, dock it up, unload and load if you need for your adventure. Up to here we've got two inset lights, with some red lights on there, adding to brake lights. Moving further down, there's two cameras that actually help dock this thing up, and of course to see what's going on behind you. Oh, there's a compact antenna. Down below here towards our wheel suspensions, more corrugated steel blocks, column in the middle, that comes across onto our suspensions. We'll get a better look at that when we go underneath it. Moving all the way up, looking down, here's our docking pad for our grinding ship. We see it's being very clearly laid down so you know exactly where the ship is going to be landing down, where exactly is safe to stand on this thing. As we can see our catwalks, see our railings go around the outside, try and stop you from falling off this thing. And towards the front here, ducking all the way down, there's a way to get inside, at least to the left and right hand side of the vehicle. On that side will be where our ladder goes all the way down. We can see two hydrogen engines giving a nice bit of power, then our steps go all the way up and around to the places I just mentioned. Up and past these floodlights, we've got two interior turrets for a bit of point defense. All the way over here, we then got our algae farms to generate a little bit of food. Towards the front, artillery turrets, two parachute hatches. Over here, more inset lights. Then eventually we come across to our assault cannon turrets for a bit more extra defense. We then see a red light in the middle, two blue lights on each side. That comes across our main bridge to actually drive around. But as you can see, we've got a bunch of windows all around this thing, so from the inside, we get a very, very clear view all around this thing as we're driving around. And we can actually see what's trying to shoot us, what's trying to destroy us, and where we need to go. Towards the front. There we are, all the way down underneath it, past these spotlights, down to this section. And here we go, all the way around. So onto this middle section, this is how wheel suspension is being connected up. So like we saw at the very back, is wheel suspension, onto some corrugated steel blocks, onto some columns. That comes all the way across towards this section. We've got ourselves a cargo terminal, a refill station, and ore detectors, so we can go out and about and scout for ore patches with this thing, if you want to do that. Across to here, we see a bunch of catwalks upside down, more scaffolding blocks. There's more wheel suspensions. Over to this section, more floodlights on the left and right hand side. towards the back. There's our beacon, there's our thrusters, and of course our connector and much more, as we saw. With that, that's a very brief look around the outside of the Scavenger, and for what it is, bloody fantastic overall design. It should do very well in survival mode. If you want to use this as a starting point in survival mode, just spawn this in and pretend this is your adventure, this is your starting story, and we'll just have fun on any old planets. But for now, I'm going to grab hold of my character, come up to the steps or the ladder on the side. This is where the bulk of the video is going to be. Yes, past this, and this is the sheer size of it compared to the Engineer, so it's a very big rover. Yes, we can now hop up this. There we go. And we just climb all the way up to the top. We'll get to our catwalks. It'll work around towards the back where our scavenging vehicle is. We'll go take it off, fly around, and come back and actually go through the rest of the vehicle. So up to here, here's a little tunnel with some orange lights that lead across the opposite side. We can walk past this section. Here we are on these catwalks with the LCD screen inset lights. And steps come all the way up. Past our containers. And then towards the back here, here's our little scavenging ship. So there's our hydrogen engines. Come back over to here, walking around. Ready to the Engineer. We've actually got quite a bit of room around this thing, so if you really want to be more space conscious, you can maybe get 3 or 4 different ships on here. Maybe one longer ship, maybe 2 smaller ships like a small fighter or small mining ship. It's up to you. You don't have to have it all connected into the middle. Catch your space out. Use magnetically place the timing down. That's what you want to do. This is the side of the ship. Access panel on the side for the modular containers. So just hop into here, disconnect that. Now I can just fly this thing away, if I can. There we go, I've got the thrusters were turned off. And it's quite a nice little speedy and nimble ship. Bear in mind this world does have a skybox that increases the speed limit, it doubles the speed limit. Yes, this thing is very responsive, should do very well, just grinding up nearby stuff. Back from here, tree, you'll be the victim for the day. And it doesn't look like I can actually grind up that tree. I tried to shoot that tree earlier, but did not want to die. Yes, this is a small little ship. Then once we're done, we just come all the way around once again, go and dock ourselves up. On the hotbar, you can see all the controls. We've got spotlights, magnetic plates, thrusters on and off, sorters, ore detectors, and all of that. So can use this for a bit of point scouting to actually see if there's any precious resources in the area ahead before bringing the rover all the way over. So now she's going to come all the way down. That'll do quite nicely. Doing that, turning off the thrusters, and we'll just go and power it down. Yes, hopping out of here, walking through this section, in fact, not walking through that section, we're going to come up here to the opposite side. And there we are, see it says our ladder goes all the way down. I believe I said earlier there's only one on one side, so do excuse that, that's my mistake. We walk into this section, there's the area that goes back to the ship. There we are, yes, back into here. We've got our little refill station, a battery, and the way to go further down. Down here is not really too interesting, just a button panel, a AI block. Then down through here is going to be a bunch of our custom weapon controllers, a bunch of reactors that are turned off by default, then a bunch of warfare batteries giving it a nice bit of power. Walking around here, and I believe I just heard a meteor storm inbound. Yes, there we are with the light at the back. That's all there is in this section. Anyway, moving all the way up, back to where I was. There we go. We now go towards this side right here. Yes, that's where we just came through. Into this section. And here we are in the small living quarters. So on this side, we've got ourselves our inset entertainment center, showing us a few adverts. Into here's your cargo terminal to go drag a few bits and bobs in and out. Over here's your medical bay, inset medical bay. Onto this section, there you have a little food processor, and a little seat to sit in while waiting for your food to be cooked. And we now hop on this, go to the opposite side. So over here's the LCD screen, telling us all about our ships. We see our power, our engines, battery power stored, input, output, and all of that. Down here's your hydrogen, there's your oxygen. It is very blurry, so God knows what it's going to look like on YouTube once it's been all compressed. Yes, there's an air vent. Around here's an armory locker. There's a cryopod for a quick little recharge. Then moving through this section, here we are, and here we are at the very front of the vehicle. We can see all around that lovely glass section. We've got a projector table in the middle to have your meetings, control stations around the outside. Over at this side, programmable block, put whatever you want on there. Inset light, button panel with nothing set up on it. Around here, there we are, to the opposite side. There we have a little refill station, looking up, LCD screens, and we'll put it up to them. There we are, so it's basically what we just saw. Onto this side. And there we are. Looking on this side, another programmable block. Come out there, consoles. And eventually we come towards the very front here, we've got ourselves our helm, patchy driver ramp. First of all, looking down there, we get a very clear view all the way around exactly what's going on at the very front of this vehicle. So you're not sure what you just bumped into, you just come towards the very front, look down, and well, there you are. And we're coming to the helm, this is the final part of this video, bring up the HUD, got quite a few tabs to actually go through. So suppose we'll start on tab number 4, which is your parachutes to open and close, O2 HU generator, refineries, assemblies, and then manual control of your interior turrets. Go blast anything that's trying to approach you. On to tab number 3, we then got our lights on and off all around this thing, spotlights, floodlights, cameras front and back, projectors to repair this thing, your hydrogen tanks, your batteries, oxygen tanks to stop power on and off, and of course to recharge. Tab number 2, we then got our wheels, but you don't need to touch any of them. Your antenna, your reactors on and off, your hydrogen engines on and off, you want that extra power. Then on tab number 1, we've got our main controls, the only one you really need to worry about. We send your artillery turret to go and fire it. There we go. We then got our master control for your turrets to turn them on and off. You then change what they're targeting with number 5. I've set them to weapons, but by default they are on default. Number 6, your auto detector on and off. Number 7, send for your assist thrusters to help you move around, and of course get up hills. Then number 8 and number 9 is your connector and merge lock at the back, to lock and unlock it, and to connect and disconnect it. Can't actually get the camera down low enough because of the ship on the back. With that, that's it for the controls. That's what it looks like on the outside. That's what it looks like on the inside. And excusing the vehicle on the bottom left, that's coming later. And that'll come before this video. Haven't recorded it just yet. And I'm going to undo the parking brakes and drive this thing around. Of course, bring out the HUD. Nothing in the general area apart from the unknown signal. And here we come all the way around. First person view, this is what it looks like. We get a very good view, like I said, all around this thing. So we know exactly what we're going to bump into, exactly what trees we're going to crush, exactly what rocks are going to cause us a big problem later on. And as you can see, we're now crawling all the way up to 7 meters per second. Doesn't look very odd because once again, Skybox is increasing the speed limit. But here we go, we're now approaching 90 meters per second. And it's behaving very, very well. Might get a bit weird over here, let's go over the lumpy, bumpy terrain. And get very, very bumpy here, above 100. I'm now actually going to slow this thing down so it don't go too fast and actually cause a massive crash. Yes, we've got gyroscopes on here, so we can reline this thing. It is quite hard to reline this thing. But just driving around here is very nauseating in the first person view. As you can see, we're taking no damage whatsoever. It's handling this fairly uneven terrain very, very well. Of course, it was very harsh terrain, very jagged rocks we're driving over. That'll be a very different story. But yes, this thing can handle very high speeds, slamming on the brakes. There we go. Now doing a tight turn. All the way around. And as you can see, actually turning this thing around from a standstill is going to take quite some time to do. The back wheel is struggling a little bit to actually get some grip there. And well, she's still going to be turning anytime soon. And then for good measure, coming to a stop once again, pressing X, coming all the way down for a big jump here. And there we go. So yes, we get quite some height here, despite being on the alien planet. Coming down once again, how will this go? And there we go, we just do a little bump. So if you do have a very, very bad jump, this thing will not take damage underneath on the undercarriage. It seems to be very good at actually just bouncing around there and eventually coming to a stop without damaging itself, which is always a good thing to check. But other than that, that is pretty much it for this vehicle. All it has to offer, how it handles, controls and all of that. So I suppose one final thing to do is to drive it to destruction if I can, by going all the way up to its maximum speed limit. If it could stop bouncing, this thing is incredibly bouncy. There we go, now on the ground. And we'll see if we can go all the way up to 200 meters per second. 110. 115. Almost at 120. Yep, this will be the end of this video. Going to come all the way down to here. And now flying. Third person view. Will it crash? And there we go, a nice big plonk. The entire front just slams straight into it. Water is remaining. Surprisingly, not much. It looks like we did do quite a dodgy landing to actually hit the back of that thing and destroy the ship. Is the ship actually anywhere around here? No, it is not. So that thing got early annihilated. Looking over here, and well, that's the hole I made. But yes, at the end of the day, it's just a fantastic vehicle to use in your world. If you do want to start it off in survival mode, as maybe just a lone scavenger on the alien planet, on planet Pertam, that's what we're going to do. This thing will be absolutely perfect for that. So yes, it'll be linked to the description below to which you download Power on yourself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Bye bye.